Yes, go ahead.
Good evening. Welcome to the December meeting of the Fulton Creek Police Board of Commissioner meeting. It starts at 6:06. We're getting started. We'll start with the item 1 on the agenda is the executive session and take action as appropriate. I need a motion to move into executive
Please,
session.
yes.
So moved.
All second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah. And who can stay?
Chief, Deputy Chief, and the three of us.
Yeah. Okay, so now it is 6:35.
Good evening. We're back into, coming out of executive session at 6:35. I believe we have some activity to take based on the discussions in executive sessions. Are there any motions for the
I move that we offer the job to Officer MM and a conditional offer to JL. His name is John Lally, I just happened to remember it. Conditional on him doing the lie detector and psychological.
And what was the third component to that? Was the
Yeah, so on the first one,
yeah.
on candidate Master Petra, so probably like we did for the last 3 certified officers that we hired, with the provision that he starts at grade B pay with 5 vacation days. And upon the completion of 1 year of service, his pay will go up to grade A rate, and upon the completion of 1 year of service, will go up to 10 vacation days.
Do we need to do them separately, or can we do them together?
If you agree on all, that's fine. I can put
They
it
can
all
be
in one
part of the
motion.
whole motion.
Absolutely.
That's part of the motion.
And any other conditions with the second, with the conditional offer of employment
No, just the standard stuff on the conditional offer of employment.
as amended? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? All opposed? All abstained? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you all.
They leave, those guys? Yeah, they both. She actually asked me a question about that. I was answering questions that I should have asked here.
So there's a
What was the question?
approval of the minutes is the next item on the agenda. So is there a motion to approve the minutes of the November 13th meeting?
So moved.
Seconded?
You can, as long as you read them, you can accept them. Yes,
Second.
thank you.
Any questions or comments, discussions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Any public comments or correspondence?
Do you wish to speak tonight? No, we're good, thank you.
Okay, review of reports, financial report.
Okay, and the financial report, obviously we're 5 months completed with this fiscal year, and we're right on target with the budget so far. It's just actually just here below, so we're barring any unforeseen circumstances, so far so good with the budget. If you have any questions on any of the specific lines, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
I have a question about the professional development subscript that's at 90%, if I'm reading this right.
Yeah, those are legal publications and field manuals that we buy every year, so
Okay.
we buy them up front when we do. So that's why it's up so far.
Okay.
And do you want to take those separately as well? All in favor of
I
approving?
have a couple of questions.
Okay, so
Repair and maintenance,
Yeah.
those are both at
Right, those are,
It's machinery, equipment is the first one,
Yeah.
and the next one down is vehicles.
right, so a lot of those are encumbrances that we have to pay out first and contracts that we have to pay out first. So that's why those are.
so
those
we're
are all-
expecting for those to continue at that rate, so they're gonna be 200%?
No, I think it's up high because those are paid, that's
Oh,
why.
okay.
Yeah, those are the ones that we had to pay out. And what happens is when we do the budget, we don't know exactly how much is going to go up, so a couple of them, we projected so far in advance in January. Come the new budget in July, when we get the bill, they've gone up, and that's what happened with some of those. But it's just up that much because we have to pay out all those contracts. service contracts.
And is Dare similarly paid up front? That's why it's almost all paid.
Yeah, he gets all his supplies for this year, gets ready for
Yeah.
graduation, so he has
Yeah.
everything
Yeah, yeah.
beforehand. He gets it actually over the summer,
Mhm,
right after July 1st.
mhm.
And that includes the senior citizen annual picnic. We sponsor that through
Dare-
DARE as a
Dare-
community.
oh,
It's
It's
part of
part
the
of
policing.
the-
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And then the dispatch overtime?
Yeah, so dispatch overtime is stuff that we've had to cover. They went for a lot of additional training this year for fire-related things and their emergency medical dispatch. So when that happens, they go to training, so we have to cover the desk with the ones that aren't going to training and shuffle around. And for a while, we were short on one dispatcher that was out. And he had also continued therapy and stuff like that, that had to be covered.
Are there any other questions?
Motion to approve the
Move
financial?
to approve the financial report.
Second, Deborah, all in favor?
Thank you.
Very good. Activity report?
Deputy, do the activity report.
Activity, well, the overall motor vehicle activity for the officers actually looked pretty good as I looked at it. I think some of it had to do with, I believe they run a click or ticket campaign during the month that they were on overtime assignments, so it brought up that activity. I mean, if you have any specific questions regarding that.
So
but-
that's
I'm
people,
sorry?
that's stopping people who don't have seatbelts on?
Correct.
So
They do it for seatbelts, they do it for distracted driving, cell phone violations and things like that. But the most important thing is the state is allowing it to be an overtime assignment now, which it wasn't in the past. It was just an assignment that we did. It was all basically on our ticket. Now they're providing us, 100% reimbursement on it.
I'm just surprised that many people still don't wear seatbelts.
Yeah, that's
A lot of people
incredible.
don't. ISU, new cases, they had 15, but the most notable, they worked 2 burglaries that we had. One was an attempted burglary on an ATM machine down at Grimaldi's Pizza. And the other one was,
Here, son.
the hair salon, yeah. Commercial burglary, 9 Lucy Street. And then at the Red Barn, we had a burglary. They also worked they made 2 arrests. They made an arrest made on an interrupted residential burglary on Newton Road, and they made another arrest on a vehicle pursuit which originated in Seymour. Some of the old cases, they're still working on the homicide, and they had a confession from, we had a theft from Elm City trailer right down here on Amity Road, and they had a confession on that, and they're doing an arrest warrant. They did 21 fingerprints in the month and 3 pistol permits. 1 larceny, but it is noted because it happened on 11/28, but its packages were stolen from the front of a home, so we're going to start seeing some of that. I know that they've had news articles about, keeping track of, when your packages are being delivered to the house. And again, I think that's going to be a problem. Criminal mischiefs throughout the month of November, we had quite a few. We had 7. But they ranged from, window breaking to some vandalism up at the country club, to the high school, to Dales Drive, with no arrests, but, there's still investigations. Car was damaged down at Monroe Muffler, and that's about it for that. DWIs, we had 3 WIs during the month. One was a motor vehicle accident, which they're going to go for a warrant, because the individual had to go to the hospital. But the 2, they're I guess they're notable, is it was both motor vehicle stops. One was at Amity and Center Road. Just noting that the first breath was .2297 and the second one was .2286, which is quite high. And then the other arrest was a motor vehicle stop The first breath analysis was, 1969, and the other one was 1896. So, I mean, those are very significant
And they were staying high,
arrests
so they were
associated with drug
acutely-
activity.
yeah.
It's scary to know that people are out there driving with that kind of blood alcohol. You should have gotten Officer Sapion's report from the high school. If you have any questions on that, please feel free to ask me. But it was relatively busy. They worked some cases over there that the chief got involved with that he probably could go into, but I'm not going to go into them individually.
We got an email about that? We
No,
don't
you
have.
don't, they don't
Yeah,
get
you
that.
don't get,
You
you don't get that,
don't
yeah, you
have
don't get the.
You report
don't get
on
the
it, right?
school, yeah, don't
But you
get-
sent us something about something going on at the high school. We got something in the
Yeah, the thing from a
email.
few weeks, so just to let you know,
Yeah.
the media was gonna be covering, so just
Yeah.
so you're aware of it.
Yep.
No.
There was also the vehicle parking lot.
Yes, that
Yeah.
was the message from the principal sent out yesterday.
Yeah.
Couple of arrests, and that's the overall activity. Any questions?
No questions?
Motion to approve?
So moved?
Second.
All approved? All fair?
Thank you.
Report of the chief?
Okay, the first thing is, so we carried over from from the agenda of last month's meeting, your meeting schedule for the upcoming year, so that needs to be finalized, because it needs to be
Right.
filed with the town clerk's.
You were
office
waiting
at
to
the
hear
end of
back.
I received the answer. So we're talking about second Tuesday?
Which is where we are now. So the only difference really, as far as the board would be concerned, is that they would start at 6:15. And then the only thing that Commissioner Falsigno just wanted to bring to your attention is that he could still come on the second Tuesday, but he would have to leave by 7:10. So unless you wanted to change the week of the meeting.
I would
But-
suggest we change to the 3rd so that Steve doesn't have to run out every time,
And do you know about your meeting?
which we think is the 1st.
So I would have to check into, I
But we have to decide tonight is the
have to
problem.
decide tonight.
Can we
Because
keep
we're
it-
not going to meet again.
Can we keep the meeting scheduled for the 8th as scheduled and
Yes?
then take this matter up on the 8th?
No.
You
Because
have
then
to
what's gonna
publish the
happen
whole
is-
thing.
It's got to be published.
Right,
Right.
and so what we could do, what will happen is, that's why this past year, we had to have so many special meetings because we deviated from the set schedule.
So the 8th, I'm not available the 8th.
Okay,
But in general, the 2nd, so what we don't know is if the 3rd Tuesday you're available.
I don't see anything with third Tuesday.
So the question, we don't know if
So the
everyone
3rd
else could do the 3rd
Right.
Tuesday,
Right.
because Rob and Steve aren't here.
Can we contact?
How big a hassle is it if we decide to go for the 3rd Tuesday, so Steve doesn't have to leave early? And then suddenly Rob or Steve says, oh my goodness, I played canasta
okay,
on the
then,
3rd
all
Tuesday.
right, well, the rest of the year becomes special meetings.
Oh, that's sort of annoying. All right, so we have to make a decision, guys.
I say keep it as is, and who can make it, can make it.
Okay, so the 2nd Tuesday at 6:15.
But beginning at 6:15, you still want the 6:15 start time, correct?
That's
Just
great
know that
for me,
I know
but,
in advance I cannot make the 8th.
yeah,
well,
Okay,
that-
that's
that
all right.
happens.
That's gonna
Yeah,
happen
that-
from time to
that's-
time.
yeah.
Of course,
Okay,
of course.
And we're here and they're not, so we get to vote.
and you know, if it proves to be a problem, we'll change it for next year, for
Yeah.
the 3rd Tuesday or
Yeah.
something.
So now.
so we
okay,
just need a
and
motion to approve the,
it must be okay, because I already had this in here for all those Tuesdays.
So I move that we approve the 2nd Tuesday of the month, starting at 6:15, starting in January. And we know we'll be missing Deborah.
right,
2019 meeting schedule as proposed. Right.
yes.
All in favor? Or has it been second?
Second,
All in favor?
thank you.
The second thing I had was, the guys did a Stuff a Cruiser event on December 1st in conjunction with Starbucks and Katz's Deli. They conducted a holiday toy drive to collect donations for the Children's Medical Center. And they did it in the parking lot of D'Angelo's Plaza down on Lower 69. And it all started, I gotta give credit to Officer Pedalino was the one that approached me about it with the idea, and I told him it sounded good and to run with it, and he did. Took care of all the coordination on it with the help of Officer Rodriguez Perez and Officer Capozzo. A few others, including myself, stopped down there throughout the day. Starbucks and Katz's Deli provided a tent and some beverages and food. lunch for the guys. And when it all shook out at the end of the day, it was very successful. They collected a significant amount of cash donations and enough toys to totally fill up one of the police SUVs. And when it was all over, they drove it directly up to the Children's Medical Center in Hartford and turned it over to the staff. They were very appreciative of that. And also in keeping with the spirit tonight, a few of our guys are partnered up again with the Reach Foundation for their annual Shop with a Cop event. They did it last year at the Milford Post and Post Mall. And tonight it's in Southington.
What do they do when they shop with the cops?
It's so the Reach Foundation provides all the funding for it, and the families all meet and they have a dinner and they do it. Last year they did bowling and they had some kind of a dinner. Then they have a charter bus and they drive all the kids and their families to the store. It's like a procession of police cars from all the different towns. And then at the store, I think they go to Target and they each get family gets a gift card that was funded through this organization. And they shop with the police for stuff for themselves and their families. So it's a
Just
real
hanging
nice
out with the
event.
police, just a
Yeah,
nice
and it ends
hangout.
up being really
Really
nice. So we're happy that we represented that and you guys take the initiative and step up and do it. So kudos to all of them for that.
How many from our,
The what?
how many from our force, Mark?
3 from our force are here tonight, and at least 3 that I know of anyway. Some others might be meeting up there, but I think there were 3 that were driving up together. And
Do they bring their families? Do our officers?
I don't think they
bring-
do. I think it's just for the police
Yeah,
officers,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they coordinate it with through Human Services and Youth Services, and 3 families, I believe, from town were contacted, and they meet them up there for the event. So it works out good.
That's right.
And the last thing I had was the JI grant. We were notified by the state's Office of Policy and Management that the department was eligible to apply and receive a one-time $6,000 grant. And it's made available through the 2019 Federal Justice Assistance Grant Program. And our project that we're going to associate with the grant was to purchase 10 new body cameras to allow us to upgrade and replace some of our cameras as they begin to fail. Sergeant Boone worked on that, and the application was signed up by the first selectman and was submitted, so we should be good to go with that.
Good.
That's good. That's all I have in my reports.
Motion to approve?
So
Second?
moved.
All in favor? Carries.
Thank you.
Personnel matters?
Under personnel matters, Officer Kevin Prentice will be officially retiring Sunday. His last shift will be Saturday evening at the end of the pay period. So we're happy that he's retiring. Sorry to see him go, but wish him the best.
Please
And
tell them
Officer
to say
Lima.
goodbye and good luck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Officer Matt Lima, who we took on from Milford. He started on October 1st. Happy to say he gone through the Certified Officer Field Training Program with us, and he also just recently completed his medical certifications that he needs, so effective the 7th. I cut him loose and he became part of minimum manpower, and he's eligible to bid.
Fill the void.
He's fit in perfect, he's doing well, so all good with him.
There's no motion for that, right?
No,
No.
thank you.
Budget?
And under budget, on the 29th, the Deputy Chief and I presented the capital budget to the joint boards of Selectmen and Finance. It seemed to be well received, and our projects were pretty reasonable, so it went over well, hopefully so. One big topic that came up that we discussed, and I guess we've been discussing for
Couple of years.
for many years now, was the renovations of the facility here. As we said, space needs assessment that, the deputy and former Chief Marcucci were involved in all the way back into 2009, was done, and so we were out of space then, and really nothing's been done to this point. And we're at the point now where we've run out of space, things are breaking, the locker room's old and cramped, it just something needs to be done. My pet peeve, one of the big ones, is the dispatch area. It's a small room. These guys and ladies are in there 24/7, 365, and there's been plastic bag covering the air conditioner on the wall for the last 10 years, and it's deplorable, and something needs to be done with that. So we've sat by patiently while everything, all the other municipal projects have been done, and we understand we have to wait our turn, but we think the time has come, and with the impending sale of the Country Club of Woodbridge, land there, hopefully that'll
Dead off, dead
turn
off.
things around, get us started in the right direction, but we're hoping to see some action and some plans in preparation of that, but I just want to go on record and respectfully ask the board, and I think I did mention that to Rob, had mentioned it in the past anyway, that, if you could support us with that and reach out to the Board of Selectmen and Finance, I know they're on board and there is a plan for the future, and, so hopefully they'll get started and make it happen down the road. We start getting in that direction. And that's all I have for the capital budget. And on the operating budget, the operating budget, we talked about it the last couple months, but Deputy Chief Janice and I have been working on preparing it. And as we've discussed, so the staffing levels will stay the same. We're at the 25, and with the hire of this new candidate, and hopefully if everything works out with the one that we gave the conditional offer to, that'll offset Officer Prentice's retirement.
Yeah.
So we'll be at full complement. And we have to have the budget submitted to the finance office by January 7th. So we'll be reaching out to the budget subcommittee in the next few weeks to see if we'll be able to come in and review it and make a recommendation on that. And then after that, the whole board can vote on it.
Okay.
Will either of you be away during the holidays?
I'll be away 26th to 30th.
26th to the 30th?
I don't think so. I think I'll be around.
Thank you.
I'll try hard, though, to come up with a plan.
Thank you.
So we'll do it either before that
Yeah.
or right now.
Motion to accept the budget?
I'm so moved.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Okay, we don't need a motion.
I knew that.
Okay.
You're just putting us through our
He
paces.
just likes
So
saying that.
fun.
New business? Any new business?
We don't have any today.
Any old business?
None.
Motion to adjourn into the
I
traffic?
will adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
Okay, thank
Woodbridge
you.
traffic, we started at 8:56. Any correspondence?
We have none.
6:56.
What did I say? Oh, yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, we're good.
6:56, yeah, this military
Yeah,
time threw me
military
off. My apologies.
That's okay.
I stand corrected and acknowledge my mistake.
So we definitely are going to get up at 7:10.
Traffic?
Yeah, so just one update, we discussed it the last few meetings, but so I'll let you know that I did, since our last meeting, I made contact with Mr. Chapwick of Rimmon Road. He's the resident that lived at the intersection there of Rimmon and Ansonia, 313 and 243. I shared the findings with him, our findings and both our findings and the findings of the state DOT after they did their traffic study. And I let them know what their proposal was on their plans that included the sightline trimming for vegetation overgrowth and the extra signage that they plan to install. And he was very pleased with it, and he's pleased that it's moving forward, and he thanked me for following up, but he asked me to make sure I extended his sentiments and thanks to the board for looking into it and
Gratitude
getting
received.
back to us. And that's it.
And will you respond to Shepard Parsons, who sent this nice letter and he said he wants to meet with you?
Yes, I called just the other day and I left a message with
Okay.
his associate or his secretary.
He's a
or
really
whatever,
nice
and
guy. I
waiting for
know
him
him
to get
since
back.
before he came here.
Okay,
Yeah, he's a really nice
yeah,
guy.
he seems very nice.
And with the name Shepard Parsons,
Yeah, that's
what
it.
what job was he gonna have? Where was this going? Right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so motion to adjourn? All in
Can
favor?
I just say that, other than Frank, I don't know who was at my house on October 19th. So could you extend my thanks?
Oh.
Okay, I will.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
was myself, I think Officer Brian Petalino and Joe Cubic.
Very
And
nice.
then next.
It was
And
Joe, tell me that again?
Joe Cubic, Officer Cubic, Joe Cubic, there's two.
It's KU?
Brian
Is that what I voted on
Petalino.
yet? So I need a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I moved
Need a
adjourn.
second?
Sorry.
All in favor? Okay, so carried.
Thank you all.